Hello, YouTubers and all those who happen to watch. Hope you guys are all doing good nonetheless. So, okay, a little bit of pointers for those who are looking for a little bit of help for Inferno. Showing you here really briefly what I got for gear, as well as, what I am essentially using. Now, of course, you see my damage is 14,000 DPS, which is the general, me dual wielding, which I have a little bit of a safeness with doing that because it gives me a little bit more evasive base for my monk. However, every once in a while I will switch to a shield and use an opposite passive. But today I'm just giving you a couple of tips. I mean, I'm not here to tell you what to do. It is your game. You play it how you want. I mean, if you keep on, stumbling around trying to find ways of trying to beat the game, but yet you clicked on my video, whatever. So, okay, first things first is play very defensively, especially in Inferno. A lot of people will complain and bicker, oh, but I want damage, I'm here to kill shit, not... Well, the point is this, you're playing in an MMO-ish style game because that's how Blizzard decided that this is how Diablo 3 should be played. And this is, of course, Diablo in a security blanket sense. For now, especially up until at least you could balance out what you got for gear, it is advisable to play more defensively than, what you have coming into the mode. And it is advisable to use a shield. A shield is quite nice. Trust me, it adds up a lot of variety. And you notice my shield I got down there in the bottom right corner of my inventory, it's sitting there on reserve. So if I need a little bit more defense on the situation, I switch to the shield. I'm not going to cry about it. And I might use my Valor, or lose my Valor for the treasure find, but, what can you do, right? And please forgive me though for the fact that this recording is a little bit laggy. It's out of my hands due to the fact there's a lot of stuff going on the screen at once. Even the highest graphics card can even stutter every once in a while. So, okay, I'm seeing what kind of enemies I'm going against, which is very important, especially against these type of monsters, which is a teleporter vendor jailer. They're not too bad. The ranged attackers are ones that are going to be a little bit of a hassle, but you can see right here I'm holding out pretty well. My mantra I'm using, it allows me to regenerate some sort of health as I'm hitting enemies, so it gives me a little bit of a regeneration. I mean, I do use the mantra of healing if I'm in a group of people, so that way it saves their tail end. And again, this group of enemies, or these magic mobs, are not too bad. They're not too hard to overcome, but when you first play this mode, they might whip your butt, so it's advisable to use a shield. A lot of people don't like that fact they have to reserve to defensive modes. Again, trust me, having 400 plus resistance, especially on Act 1, is essential, as well as at least having 4k plus of defense, unless you are really secure of what you have for a build. This build I'm pretty much using Serenity as a, security blanket to keep myself alive, especially when the heavy hitting enemies come around. I could face tank a couple enemies. If things become a little bit too overwhelming, I do kite around a tiny bit as well. It helps out, trust me. And again, it is good to repetitively restart an act over and over and over, especially in Act 1, and get plenty of drops, sell them to the vendor, sell them on the auction house, build up some cash, buy some better gear, and that's pretty much the whole objective to starting Inferno, is working on getting a lot of good gear. Unless, of course, you farmed early on through the previous acts, you got a lot of money to blow, or you just bought a lot of cash out crap. But if that's the case, just ignore this video and go buy crap from Korean players, I guess. So, with that said, you can see here I'm approaching stuff very carefully. I'm not trying to, pick a battle I cannot win. And if I see an enemy that's out of my grasp or something that's going to whip my butt, I usually retaliate, excuse me. And, well, make sure I can be able to achieve any goal of being able to overcome these monsters. And the important thing as well is before you fight an elite mob, make sure you clear out all the standard monsters out of the area. This is a herp-a-derp thing, but most people do forget this and get careless. As well as these standard mobs are a hell of a lot easier to fight versus the magic groups. And they do help build up whatever you're trying to regenerate, especially for a monk. But mostly for the other classes, such as Barbarian, when you first jump into this mode, if you are dual wielding, it is advisable to use a nice shield, at least with 12 100 defense and some stats to help with resistance and all that nature. So if you have any armor or at least any gear with plenty of vit and all that, then that's pretty much essential. But I have Breath of Heaven, which helps me use some CC. I'm using the blinded and charmed bit with my flash ability. And of course I have Breath of Heaven, which is essential for every monk. I mean, it's not the greatest thing in the world to use, because most people probably tell you that you pretty much go pure damage through their builds. And again, the flash is optional, but it's great CC, meaning crowd control. And that helps out with a lot of, keeping things out of your hair if it comes too hectic. And there's no shame in keeping enemies away from you if you're trying to recover. It's smart thinking, and on top of that, it keeps you alive a lot longer. And of course, coming up with a scenario up on this part of the storyline, and having these extra companions running around with you is nice to have. Extra damage along the way does not hurt. And this guy is immortal at the moment, so, he will not die while running along with you. And you're going to notice I'm going to be going between the portal, or at least the waypoints, going between town and healing myself and come back into the battle, which I do it in a timely manner, so that way, the monsters won't rage, and if they do that, you're going to die very fast. And what the rages happen with, especially with the monsters here, are they'll pretty much drain your health super fast, which I don't understand why this is important, or why the hell they should even include this in the Inferno mode. I mean, you're fighting tough monsters as it is, and you have a certain time limit in order to fight these monsters, and if you don't kill them fast enough, you'll pretty much die really fast. But this does not happen during this elite mob, or at least I don't think so. No. It really doesn't happen. I do retaliate a couple times. I jump back, and I cut a little bit during this fight. You're going to see a magic or elite mob coming through here. Or, of course, they're called rare mobs in this game. But I pretty much retaliate. I jump back a couple times. The battle is a little bit longer than it needed to be, so I cut a little bit of the battle out. I run around a bit, trying to wail down on the main mob, because these guys are, martyrs, so they're pretty annoying. Because you got to be in close, but if you're in too close, especially the arcane magic you see right there, you'll get rocked. You will die very fast. And you can see right there, I'm using Savage-Sided Strike, which gives me 777% damage increase towards this attack. It's really nice, and on top of that, it makes you mortal temporarily, because you hop off the screen and all that nature. As you can see right here, I'm learning my limits. I'm tagging this waypoint really fast, jumping to Tristram, healing up really quickly. A little bit of a load there because all that stuff's happening at once. There we go. I run to this vendor here that replenishes my health for free. I don't know why I talked to him. I think I was smoking crack cocaine. And then I talk to him, recover really fast, and this is the end of me killing him. Nightmarish, which means he puts fear in me, makes me run away. Which these monsters are pretty shifty when it comes to that. The AI in these monsters are intelligent as hell. Like, they plan things out like 3 steps for you, and on top of that, they can read all the moves you have. But again, it is not too shameful to run away from some mobs, kiting them around, especially if you're a demon hunter. You can do a lot of CC with most of your traps, and make sure you can kite enemies through those. I mean, I'm not here to tell you what to do, especially when it comes to those type of mobs, but hey, what can you do, right? But anyway, I hope this video does help you out. It gives you some pointers and gives you a little bit of advice. I mean, again, it is advisable to make sure you have plenty of defense and you survive. So take it easy, folks. Thank you guys so much for watching.